Okay, so we're going to set up a business account for ourselves at Twitter. Now, if you already have a personal Twitter account and you want to also use it for your business, absolutely no problem. You can skip this and go on to the next video in the lesson if you'd like. However, you might want to consider having a separate Twitter account just for your business because Twitter does allow that. Unlike Facebook, which only allows you one account per carbon life form, Twitter does allow you to have multiple accounts as long as each one uses a separate email address and as long as you're not impersonating anybody. We'll talk about that in more detail when we go over the terms of service in Twitter in a later video. But for now, we're going to go ahead and set up a business Twitter account, an account that we're only going to use to promote our business and to be a good citizen of the online community. So we went to twitter.com and click sign up now. Go ahead and put your full name in, and I'm just going to call myself Ann Jones. And then the username is very important. You want to try and keep the username short, not just because it's easy to memorize, and your URL will be, as you can see, http://twitter.com/username. It doesn't have to be in all caps as it's showing. So not just because it's easy to memorize, but more importantly, because remember, one of our goals that we're going to try and achieve with Twitter is to get our tweets retweeted by our followers to encourage that viral marketing. And because each tweet has a limit of 140 characters, and when you retweet, the person's username precedes the tweet, then that adds to the length of the tweet. Now, actually, when you retweet, I have a whole video all about retweeting. Retweeting actually has a limit of 160 characters, including the user's name. So they're giving you 20 extra spaces for the user's name, but I would recommend that you try and keep it as short as possible. Let's say that Ann Jones's company is Acme. We might call it Ann at Acme. So if you are the owner of the company Acme, or you're in charge of marketing Acme, I would recommend that you don't just name your Twitter account Acme, that you actually give it some sort of person associated with it. Because again, this goes back to what I talked about before about being transparent in the social media communities. That you want to make sure they know that there is a human being behind this brand. And so even if you called yourself sales or support, that would be better than just plain Acme. And if you have multiple people that work in the same company, why not encourage some of your staff to also set up their own business Twitter accounts? So Jeff at Acme, sales at Acme, support at Acme, because that really shows your clients who are on Twitter that you're pretty committed and in tune with what's happening. So we've given ourselves a username, and then give yourself a password. It has to be 6 characters or more. I'll just go ahead and do that. And it tells you if it's weak or strong. I don't really care. And then an email address. In case you forget your password, then they're going to have to email a reset link to this email address. So let's try this one. And I don't need any email updates. We'll go ahead and enter the CAPTCHA characters. Let's hope that's right. And if it wasn't right, this is nice that you can hear the set of words, because sometimes these are ridiculously hard to read. And then we'll say create my account. All right, so it's accepted our email address and our username, so that's good. And now it's suggesting that if you want to go ahead and get some followers or follow some people, that you could match your Gmail address book, your Yahoo address book, or your AOL address book against Twitter's database of email addresses, like that email address I just tried to enter. And it'll come up with a list of matches, but for now we really don't care. So I'm going to choose skip this step. And then suggest some people that you might want to follow. They're all usually pretty famous people or publications, and I don't care about that. So I will just choose skip this step. All right, so now I'm at my default Twitter page, my home page, and it's asking me, what are you doing? In addition to that, you might want to follow some people or check out what are the trending topics on Twitter, and there's other things to play with here. We're going to go on and talk about filling in your profile and getting rid of this default background image. But one interesting thing that happened right after I set up this account, as you can see, we already have 2 followers. Now, how did that happen? If this happens to you, go ahead and click on it, and you will see a problem that's happening with Twitter at the moment, and that's the problem of Twitter spam. There are people who have figured out how to immediately tell when a new user creates an account, and they immediately follow them, and they could be spammy or porn or something like that. I don't know what they gain out of getting all those followers, but you can report them as spam to Twitter just by emailing their username to spam@twitter.com, or you can also just go to Actions and choose block under their name, which means this person cannot follow you anymore. reminds you that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to block both of these people. All right, let's go on to our settings, and we'll just enter a few essential settings here. Now, Maria Langer, in her other title here on lynda.com called Tweeting Essentials, has a lot more information about this kind of stuff, so you might want to watch that if you want more details, but let's just go over a few things in your settings. One definite thing that you want to set up for your business Twitter account is your blog or website URL, the more info URL. So we'll set this up as http://acme.com, because I'm going to delete this account after we set it up. And then your one-line bio. The one-line bio is what you see. Let me show you this Ann Smith account. This is the bio right here. There is a limit to the number of characters. It's not really one line. As you see, it wraps into multiple lines. And this is searchable. So it's very important that what you put into your bio is a good description of your business or contains keywords that people might be searching for. So back here we might say, our one-line bio is that Acme makes the best widgets in the world, and you can put anything else that you want here, but you see that about yourself in fewer than 160 characters. You can type your location if you're a local business and people are searching for, say, a bakery in Charlottesville. Then you might want to say, in addition to including the word bakery in your bio, include the location, the city that you're in, or you can say anything you want. You can say USA, you can say the name of the city. You can see it's pretty free form. What language would you like Twitter to use? And you would never click this, protect my tweets. This just means this is for a very private Twitter thing, meaning the public cannot read your tweets. Only people that follow you and that you've approved to follow you can read them. So that's what's called the public timeline, meaning what's available to be seen by the public. If you're trying to find prospects and clients, then normally you don't want to do that. So we'll click save, and notice this is where the elusive delete my account link is. People ask that all the time. So we'll click save. Password, devices. If you have a mobile phone and you'd like to access Twitter from there, then you can enter your mobile phone number, and you can have Twitter send text messages to your phone. There are also apps that you can use like Tweety or other apps for iPhone and the BlackBerry from which you can send tweets. So this URL of twitter.com/ and then your username is accessible. Actually, I read by just a very small percentage of people are using the web to read tweets and to look at people's Twitters, which makes a lot of sense because you're not spending all your time in front of the computer now, are you? Let's jump ahead to notices. And when somebody starts following you, when they become like your fan and they're following your tweets, then you can have Twitter email you. When somebody sends you a direct message, meaning it's a tweet that only you can see and nobody else can see, you could also have them let you know. After a while, especially if your business becomes popular, this is going to get pretty obnoxious, so you might want to turn them off or at least create a mailbox for those emails to go into. Your picture is what appears here. So this empty thing of little o underscore big O, this is the hallmark of a newbie amateur Twitter user, and you don't want that to be there. So you want to upload a picture. You can see maximum size of 700K. It can be a picture of anything. You don't want it to be pornographic or anything like that, or anything illegal, because that is a violation of the terms of service and could get your account killed. But normally you want to put a picture of a face, of a person. If it's a business, it's okay to put your logo up there or a picture of a product. I think the best possible thing would be to put a picture of a person who is Twitter author, like Ann at Acme, but Ann is wearing an Acme shirt or an Acme beanie or something like that. But for now, we do have a picture here. Let me find one on my desktop. This is Ann, and we will click save, and then, oh, thank you very much. It always says that's a nice picture. And then finally, design. And design means that you can change the background here, which I'll be talking about in another video. You can leave it at the default if you like. I mean, right now, you're good to go. If you click home, you can start twittering away. And if people ask, what is your Twitter address? You can say it's twitter.com/ and then the username that you gave yourself.